We have some people viewing. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Trail Talk Live with me, Aaron Shimmons, and Ricki Wynn in Chamonix. You know what this one's all about. It's all about Ricki's TDS training. Ricki, we're 2 weeks out from the race to this very day. I'm excited. I mean, how do you feel about being 2 weeks away from the goal race?
Yeah, look, I'm still pretty calm about it. Like I'm still in my mind, I'm still like I'm here, I'm still training. So I'm not overthinking the race as you well know, my skill is underthinking, so I can kind of like keep the race to one side and still concentrate on what I'm doing right now. I know exactly kind of where I am in the block and what I need to do from now up until the race.
Super. So for the viewers, we're going to take about 30 minutes, I would guess, to go through the questions. We're going to answer questions that were submitted on Instagram, submitted through the WhatsApp community. We're going to see how we go with that. I've thrown in a few wild cards in there, Ricki, because we can't keep you we have to keep you on your toes. And also after the live, jump on into the WhatsApp, Trail Talk WhatsApp, and we'll do a bit of a post show. So any follow up things, because we can't just tackle everything here and now. So it's also good to get that kind of community banter going around it as well. So I just want to set the scene here, right? So I'm looking over here because this is where my notes are. The training over the last while, it's been pretty fucking epic. Like it surprised me a little bit, and I know you're a bit of an animal, but your last week in Ireland, 132k, 13 hours, 4.2 kilometers of vert. Over to Chamonix, 139k, 17 hours, 7.5k of vert. 186k, 25 hours, 12k of vert. And then the week just passed, 196k, 26 hours, and 12k of vert. How is the man coping with it for a start?
Yeah, honestly, look, I feel good. I feel really good. I feel strong, loads of energy. As you can see, I like might look lean, which is what I want, but I don't look tired. I don't look exhausted. I don't feel tired, and I definitely don't feel exhausted. I'm chomping at the bit. Can't wait to get going. It's been a like so for anyone that doesn't know, I have been injured, So the block normally I'd like to like let's say go for like a 16-week block, 14 to 16-week block, but it just didn't happen this way. It was a condensed block, so I needed volume plus quality, So I had to like do what I had to do at home in Ireland to get myself here. And then when I got here, look, it's Chamonix. It's impossible to go anywhere without getting 1,000 meters of climb. Like even on an easy day, Aaron, the crack. You go for an hour, you get 1,000 meters of climbing nearly. So it's very easy to stack vert on top of vert. And like, look, as the last 2 weeks have gone, they've gone really well. I've got some really good quality in there. I've got loads of vert in there. Got some great back-to-back runs in there with friends, that are over here, and then friends that are coming and going, people that follow me on Instagram that are wanting to take me out on a run, or me wanting to take them out on a run. So it's been brilliant. Like I've been loving it here, absolutely loving it.
Full crack. So just touching on the injury, like you had this bit of a let's call it like a groin or a hip issue going back from a previous shorter distance race. There was a few questions on this, but maybe we can just summarize it by what exactly was the injury? Do you still have to do any rehab around it? And also, the most important bit for me, because this is my addition to the question, how did you go from injured to fucking epic in a week?
Yeah, well, like again, look, I'm not the norm, right? I swear I'm not the norm. Like I don't do things that a lot of other athletes do. I kind of like just try and put my spin on everything. And like I said to my brother when I got injured, he says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to keep training." And he goes, but what happens if it gets worse? I said, well, two things are going to happen. I'm either going to make it better or I'm going to make it worse, but I'm going to find out, and that's it. Like, so I had to find out. I figured out that if I was running hills and not flats, I wasn't really having an issue. So then if I was running hills at home as much as possible, I was doing strength work, and then talking to my physio, doing a few things, doing a few stretches, doing a few exercises. It got me almost there. And since I've come to Chamonix, because the vert is so extreme, and I'm very focused on how I'm running up hills, I'm tippy tappy, no big strides, no nothing, just keeping everything nice and compact, nice and tight. I've just got stronger and stronger. And because of that, I'm having no issues. I can actually say I don't think it's a problem anymore. And I don't know how that's happened. Maybe it's a positive mindset because no matter what you tell me I can't do, I'll go and do it. I'll go and do it. Simple.
Fuck it and find out.
Yeah.
So I can't believe like you don't even feel it at all now. Have you kept any particular like flat running or road running in the weeks since you've been over there?
So what's happening is if I say right, like if I want to do uh get X amount of vert and I want to go down, and then if I have to add to that, I'll add to that with flat running, and I will like alternate between the speeds. So it's sort of like interval sessions, but it's after I've done the descents, so that I'm getting that running economy back up and running, if you know what I mean. After I've had a big ascent and a big descent, I want to see, can I still run and run fast on the flats? And I'm not having a problem. And I think it's because, like, again, I'm only saying I think it's because I'm doing so much vert, so much quality vert, that I'm just getting stronger and stronger. And again, I'm mixing it up. I'm mixing it up. So let's say day one, I'm going out. I'm not bringing poles. I'm running all the climbs, not running them super fast. Like I said, tippy tappy. The following day, I'm bringing poles. I'm mixing up muscle groups. So I'm giving the legs a bit of a break. That's the great thing about trail running. You can switch where the muscle groups are getting fatigued. When you're running on the road and only the road, it's the same muscle group all the time. Whereas on the trails, you're mixing it up all the time. And depending on where you run and what you run on, you're changing it up. So the body's always guessing, always adapting, and always getting strong.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so with all of this volume, what are you doing as like recovery? Are you doing mobility stuff? Are you stretching it out in the one man tent? What's the strategy for recovery and keeping the bits and pieces moving other than the running and the hiking?
Again, another huge factor here is this is in Ireland. So when I wake up in the morning, it's not Baltic, it's not freezing cold, and it's not pissing rain all the time. Lately, it's been a little bit wet, but most of the time, it's nice and warm. And when it's nice and warm, you feel looser, you feel better, you feel like you're already stretched out. So then, just in the morning, before I have my breakfast, a few little Mickey Mouse stretches, nothing crazy because I'm not a big, massive fan of stretching either. But look, a few squats, a few hamstring stretches and a few groin stretches, and that's about it. I'm not going OTT with anything because that's something I've never done anyway.
Pure animal here, 101. Just told the injury to sling its hook. No rehab, no mobility. What are people gonna learn from you, Ricky? People, if
Yeah.
people, if people did as Ricky does, they would get injured, I think.
Yeah, but like sometimes that's just me. That I've always done stuff like this. I've always kind of go, well, look, I want to run, so I'm going to run. Yeah, but maybe you should take a few weeks off. And I go, well, I don't know. I think running broke it, but I think if I keep running, it'll fix it. Like maybe that sounds stupid to most people, right? But in my brain, it makes sense. It's like, if I'm running and I'm doing all these things, I'm getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then if I'm able to then stay injury free for a long time, I'm stacking training block on top of training block. And then I know my own body. Like I know when I'm pushing it too hard and I know when I need to back up. So I'm very aware of how much like I have no problem sacrificing workouts for volume, because I know that the workout may give me a chance of, an injury. Whereas, and if I just keep doing the volume, I'll be fine. And I've no problem with that. And I definitely have no problem with cutting out a bit of speed work in something like the TDS, because TDS is just a massive challenge, more so than, let's say, a CCC or a fast 50K. It's a totally different race. So it's like, it's more a patient build up, average pace kind of race.
So thinking about keeping on the training subject, when you were in Ireland, what type of intensity were you doing during the week? And then this abbreviated block in the Chamonix Valley, what type of intensity have you been doing?
Yeah, so back home, I'd always do something like, I'd probably do 2 interval sessions a week, and my interval sessions would be like 12 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 12 minutes on, 12, something like that, where I'd be going a little bit quicker than race pace, maybe like 25 seconds, 30 seconds quicker than race pace on a 25, 30K run, and I'd be just breaking that up with 12 minutes on, 5 minutes off. I'm doing less of that here, but I'm doing so much more quality hill work. So I'm doing a lot more, let's say, strength work where I'm not on the limit. I'm close to it, but I'm not on the limit. So I'm not, getting into that VO2 max range all the time or as much. And I think that's okay here for this race. I don't think I need to be doing that for this race.
So I've never heard Ricki Wynn use an RPE number. So on a 1 to 10, like on your hill sessions in Chamonix, what are you saying here? We're like an RPE 6, 7-ish, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're probably in around that. Exactly. Exactly. So I'm in around that 6, 7 where I can sustain that pace up that climb without the heart rate spiking. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's like for viewers, that's like almost like a tempo or sort of up the tempo LT1, some people would call it. And interestingly enough, chatting to Ben Demon earlier about his UTMB training, and he said that for Madeira Island Ultra Trail, which took 13 hours, he had 3 hours of tempo in that 13. So it is like it's a critically important zone and an area to work if you want to do
Yeah.
well in ultra trail.
Yeah, 100%. And I was doing this, like, I'm not saying, oh, I didn't invent this, right? But I've been doing this for a long time, just because it's a training I like doing, and I like mimicking racing like in real life. I want it to feel like I'm actually in a race rather than, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. I'm not going to be doing that in a race. So I want to know what I can handle over an X amount of time. And John Alban, a few years ago, this is maybe 5 years ago, he was basically saying the 80-20, there's a lot of holes you could pick in it. And he was more concerned about those longer sustained effort at race pace, and I feel they stand to me more. Now, some would argue that you could do too much of that, and they call it the let's they call it the gray area, and you can get injured from doing so much of that. But I feel like I recover really well from that because of my diet. Like, that's another huge factor. I have a very, very clean diet. Like, you know what I mean? I'm the cruelest person in the world to myself. Like, I don't treat myself fantastically well. Like, I'm not going eating ice cream if I win a race. I don't care about ice cream. Give me the veggies all day long, because they got me in the shape that I won that race, and not eating the ice cream. So I'm very good at being like that, being disciplined, being controlled, and that helps in training as well.
I feel somewhat attacked because I had a pint, a pizza, and ice cream after the Bob in the following couple of days, and for everyone at home, know that that's not what Ricky Wim would do. Strip back the porridge and veg.
That's it.
One one of the questions that come in was how long did it take you to get used to that jump of from 4K of vert to 12K of vert, and also was there any sort of altitude effect?
Honestly, I was on maybe my first run. I was kind of actually saying to myself that I feel good. Hey, I feel good. I feel like I'm going to adapt to this really fast. Now, maybe that was because I was on my own and I had nobody else to compare myself to. I wasn't listening to somebody else not breathing heavy, and I wasn't comparing myself to anyone else. I was just going, doing what I was doing, but I was running up hills. I got straight up like to, let's say, 2,000 meters the first day I got here, and I got here after like a very early start, like a 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning start, getting a bus, Dublin, fly to Geneva, bus the thing, set up the tent, out the gap, out the door, up a mountain. And okay, the heat probably was like, whoa, that's hot now. But I felt like I would adapt it really fast. And within like 2 or 3 days, I was like, I'm good to go here. Let's ramp it up. Let's ramp it up. I'm here to work. I'm here to work. Everyone thinks, yeah, it's great. You're here. You're on holidays. I'm not on holidays. I'm working.
This is a training camp.
Mm,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like any good runners I ever talk to or observe, it's always their ability to absorb training and recover quickly. I don't know what the connection is, but you've got that. So wherever it came from, and I don't think it's all diet or all one thing or another, but it's something, and you seem to be experiencing it. So that's great. Um, so moving on to nutrition, a couple of questions come in on that. Touch on like every day we see that Ricki is the porridge on Instagram. 10
Yeah,
porridge.
yeah, yeah.
What is the breakfast and the meal? What are you eating on TDS day? Put it that way. What are you eating on TDS day?
TDS day, because it's 11 o'clock, I think it's great. Like some people might be put off by 11 o'clock start, but it's not. It means you can wake up and you can relax and you can do what you've been doing every morning. So I'll do exactly the same. I'll wake up, I'll have a coffee, I'll go to the toilet, I'll come back, I'll have my porridge, nice and relaxed with peanut butter and blueberry jam. And then I'll probably have another coffee. And then I'll have a light lunch, maybe two light lunches instead of a huge dinner, something like that. And then and that's it. Get the bus over to Courmayeur, get the bus over and hopefully be ready to rock, you know.
Dish of
But
dirt.
we'd say, yeah,
What's lunch? What does lunch maybe look like? These are the things people want to know.
yeah. Well, right now in Chamonix, I'm eating porridge in the morning. I'm going for my run. I'm coming back. I'm probably eating porridge again. Right. This is it. Carb up, lads. It doesn't matter if it's pizza or porridge. So just carb up. Get the carbs in. Get the glycogen cells refueled, and then I'll probably head into town for like dinner. So dinner for me is light because I'm staying light. I'm coming in at like 50 kilo. Right. So like, there's nothing to me at the minute. I want power to weight ratio to be out the gap. And that's exactly where it is right now. It's 50 kilo, 5'2", and strong. That's how I feel right now. And that's because porridge, and then I'll have a wrap out of Cool Cats. I get the hummus wrap. You saw me eat it. And it'll be no different on race day. It could be a hummus wrap, or it could be, yeah, with the vegan sausage in it. You can't beat it. And
Oh, it's
again,
good.
it's just carbs, carbs, carbs. Yeah.
Love it. These little details, that's what people want to know. People are going to be going to Chamonix and going, no, don't want no baguette. Ricki Wynn has porridge. I want porridge. I want peanut butter and blueberry jam. That's the secret sauce before a workout. So then during the race, know you're a big NAC guy. Ricki 15 for discount at NAC. Go and
Mm.
support Ricki. Um, what is the fueling strategy for the race? Give us some metrics, some thoughts there.
Yeah, I actually will say that since I've come to Chamonix, huge thing for me is I have been hammering the nutrition, hammering it. Every single run I'm going on, I'm doing exactly what I'm going to be doing in the race. I'm not skimping on nutrition. I know it's expensive, whatever. But if you're skimping on nutrition this close to a race, you're going to have a problem come race day, and your gut is not going to handle what you want to throw at it for 20 plus hours. So for me, I'm going to be throwing back a drink mix every hour and a gel every hour. So I'm actually going to be upping my carb intake from normally I'd be at 60 grams, so I'd be more to that 75 grams of carbs. With it's actually 55 grams of carbs in the drink mix and then 25 in the gel. Yeah, so I'm coming in at 80 grams, and hopefully I can keep that going for as long as possible. There may be a low where I mightn't get exactly that into me, but hopefully I'm still able to get 50 to 60 grams of carbs in, and that'll probably be through drink mix as well. So I'm aiming to only use NAC products throughout the whole race because they've worked for me so well in training. I'm finishing my training runs full of energy, not wiped out of it, and not hangry for sugar. There's another thing. Like, so many people finish a run and they go, "Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm starving." You're starving because you didn't eat enough on the run, so your body is crashing, and you're not then recovering for the next run. If you fuel up on the run and you take in enough or slightly over enough, the next day you're good to go. You can train every day. Yeah.
Yes, totally helps with recovery, and the NAC products have some protein in them too, which is
Yeah.
the thinking behind that. Um, are there any considerations with TDS being a night start and how that'll affect the nutrition? Because it can be kind of uh, odd trying to slam whatever the target is for a 10 a.m. compared to a 1 a.m.
Again, like, how do you know till you're in it? The plan is to do what I'm doing. I may then, like, what I'm thinking of drip feeding caffeine into me as I'm racing. So I've been using the caffeine gels. So they're like a cocoa flavor, go down really well, and you don't get that, like, I'm not getting a huge spike off it, but because I'm taking one maybe every 2 to 3 hours, a caffeine gel, I find that I did it there I did the Marathon du Mont Blanc route day after doing 42K. So I was banging out another back to back, took a lot of caffeine gels in on that day, and never once was looking for energy. I had a constant stream of caffeine just been drip fed into me, and it worked really well. And I don't see why that won't work on the night of TDS.
And any stomach issues at all with the caffeine?
None. Absolutely none. No, no. Now look, I have, again, like, maybe it's just me, but I have an iron stomach, man. I can hammer it. I can throw anything into it, and I seem to always be fine. I haven't had nutrition problems for a long, long time, and maybe that's one of the reasons I went down the vegan route, because a long time ago, I used to always have stomach problems. I'd hit that 70K mark in a race and I'd be puking. But look, I watched so many YouTube videos, I thought, oh, sure, they're all puking. That's normal. You're supposed to do that. But I was like, this is not good. I can't be doing this long term. I want to be in the sport. I can't be doing this. I'll have no insights left. So after I went vegan and just certain products, whatever they're doing to them, I'm having no problems, no problems.
Great. Couple more questions. Guys in the chat, stick questions in there. We'll scroll through them once we've gone through the Instagram submitted stuff at the end. So, one question on carb loading. Is there a strategy there?
Uh, I'm not huge on horse and carbs into me. I will just keep doing what I'm doing. To be honest with you, like, two bowls, too big. I mean, they're big. They're big bowls of porridge. If I keep that going, like, that's carb loading. And then I'm eating my wrap. And that's always getting those carbs in. So, like, I don't believe in just hammering carbs into you, because at the end of the day, look, your glycogen can only hold so much anyway, and after 90 minutes, you need to be hammering the gels, hammering carbs into you anyway. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
I feel like if I walked into that campsite some morning, you'd be sitting there out the front of the tent, just eating with a big wooden spoon out of the saucepan, just horsing the porridge into you.
Well, it's not far off it. It's not far off it. Hey, I do say, look, like, I'm not a huge porridge man at home, right? It's just easy to do it here, and then it's just an easy thing. It's cheap, it's affordable, and it's good for you. High fiber, you can't beat it. Full of carbs, and then I'm saying the Kenyans are horsing ugali into them every day. They're the fastest people on the planet. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us, because it's the same kind of thing. It's basically just carbs. That's it. It's just simple, simple carbs.
Yeah. All right, couple of race specific questions, and this one's for me. I kind of want to know, how do you feel going into TDS compared to how you felt going into CCC last year, fitness
Yeah,
wise, mentally?
yeah. I was thinking about this the other day because I was flying going into CCC, but then I hurt my foot, and it kind of wrecked what I was doing. Just when I was beginning to peak, I had to take days off, So I missed a lot of days over here in Chamonix, getting it strapped up, not being able to run on it properly. And even though I ran okay, I ran pretty well in CCC, and my foot didn't really annoy me until like after the race. It was in the back of my head that I hadn't got that training block I wanted. I hadn't got, that confidence. Whereas in now I feel like, and again, like hindsight, everything, I was running down hills so fast last year, so fast, thinking I need to be hammering down hills. I need to get the quads conditioned, da da da. And then I got injured. Whereas in this year, I'm so much smarter. I'm hammering the climbs and I'm running really strong uphill, but I'm taking me time on the downs because you know yourself, Aaron, living here, one wrong foot and
Sore.
you're out. Exactly. It's like I was running with the lads today, and I was telling them, "Look, lads, we're very close to the race. Just be careful on the downhills. Don't be going mad. We don't need any heroes. Just take your time. We'll get down because you're not going to get any gains from hammering down a hill. You're not. Leave that for race day. So
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
to answer that question, I feel way fitter. I believe that I just believe that I'm fitter than I was. I actually think I'm fitter than I've ever been. And I'm like 41 years of age, and I feel like I can take on the world right now. Look, we've still got a race. Right now it's all talk. It's all positive talk. I'm not trying to big myself up, and I'm not trying to be cocky, but I'm trying to be confident in my ability and in myself. That's what I'm trying to do.
Ireland's Ludo. That's what you are. So I always like to ask people this, like, what put the goal out there, call it out. That's one of the things that I love about you, is that you'll just like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm gonna try and do. So what is it?
Yeah. So look, huge goals, right? So I want 21, 22 hours, somewhere in the middle of that. Hopefully that's enough to get me very, very close, if not inside in that top 10. I really, really want a top 10. If that doesn't work out, I've got to obviously break 24 hours. And after that, there is no other goal. That is it. Like that, I'm running it faster than 24 hours. And if possible, I'm grabbing a top 10 with a 21, 22 hour run.
And will you be thinking about that 21-ish hour finish time, or will you, like, if you're wanting the top 10 position, you kind of need to keep certain groups in sight. So are you going to be keeping that in the back of your mind? At what point in the race is that going to become more important?
Yeah, I think, like you said, you got to keep close contact. It is one of those races where there's a huge DNF dropout rate. There's a lot of guys that just run themselves into the ground and blow up. So I got to keep an eye on all those kind of things. But kind of I know where I want to coming into Beaufort. There's no point being trashed early on. I've got to save running because there is some good running to be done after Col de Tricot. Like, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but I've done that 4 times now, and I know where I can make up ground. I know that that's the kind of trail that suits me down to the ground, and you definitely can make ground up on lads that are debt marching the long walk in from La Houche to Chamonix. You can pick people off even in the last 20K.
Absolutely. The last 20K, there's loads of running.
Yeah.
And it's not downhill running either.
No, no. Yeah. And if you're debt marching there, you got it all wrong. You know, if you're not running there and you're zombie walking it in from there, I'm telling you, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be a long walk, and you just got your race wrong. You just got it wrong.
Yeah. All right. A couple of quick questions. Just give me a one word or one sentence. Shorts or tights?
Tights.
Do you fast before the race?
No.
What's your favorite route in Chamonix?
Brabant. The back trail.
And will the moustache stay or go after TDS?
After TDS, it's gone. Not my choice. Sorry.
It's part of the deal, people. It's part of the deal. All right, just looking at the live chat, Owen's asking, how do you find the first climb out of Cormair?
Yeah, it's a stinger. It's definitely a stinger. You're looking at 1,200 meters in 9K, and then it flattens out. But yeah, there's two sides to it. It's long and it's steep, but it's wide. You know, so plenty of space. So it's not going to get bottlenecked. You know, so especially for me, I like to think I'd be close enough to the front. You know, I can pull a few fast ones. Like my runner's index isn't the highest, but it has me in a good position. But I also have another trick. I'm not going to tell you it, but I can get closer up to that elite line. So I think I'll be in a good position there. So I won't need to be stressing about getting, you know, bottlenecked in or getting closed in. And then it's just, you know, get it done. Put the head down and grind a bit. Get yourself into a good position, and then after 1,200 meters, it flattens out for a while. Stay nice and calm, nice and steady, and you've got a nice bit of a descent all the way up until about 18K. Bit of a climb again, and then you've got a long downhill where if you're not smart, you'll blow the doors off your legs there coming down into Tool, Lathul. Yeah. So it's not the worst start. Like CCC was a way bigger climb, way bigger climb. It was a horrible climb. So it's a lot less steep than that. So it's not something that I'm worried about.
And Zach's asking when the taper starts. I think we kind of know that. And can you also just like give us a little bit of insight into what the taper looks like? Where are we going from 26 hours? What are we dropping down to this week?
Yeah. So let's say last week was peak week, 100%. So then I dropped down to 70%, which it's actually a little less than 70%. You know, because I was looking at it like 70% would have me at about 137 kilometers with 8,500 meters of climbing. I don't really want 8,500 meters of climbing, but it'll be close to 7,500 and about 120 to 125. And that sounds high, but like after doing almost 200 kilometers, that's a huge drop off. You know, there'll be a little bit more intensity on some of the uphills, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but the downs will be very, very slow. And then next week, leading up to the race, I'll be dropping down to about 35 to 40%. Again, I'll be keeping the intensity high on some of the climbs, but I'll be getting a lot of cable cars next week, lads. There'll be a lot of ups and a lot of cable cars down because I need to save the quads.
Love it. Smart, smart, smart Ricki here. Um, what else have we got? Uh, yeah, I suppose just maybe touching on Zach's point. The most important thing here, Zach, is that there's a big Irish group doing TDS. We've got Gavin Byrne, we've got Keith, we've got Killian, yourself. Anyone I'm missing? Any ladies?
My there's Jan Corcoran, so Jan Tastic would be her Instagram handle. She's a very good runner back home in Ireland. She's another Hoka racer as well, so I really hope Jan does well. My younger brother Brian Wynn is his name. He lives over in Norway. He's a little bit smaller than me. Hard to believe, but he's quality. He's strong. You know, he's put a huge training block in, so definitely could be one to watch. You know, who else is there? Yeah, so Gavin, myself, Keith, my brother Brian, and Jan. Yeah, and Killian, obviously. Yeah. And we all know each other. You know, that's the thing. We're all friends. Some of us are training together right now this week. They're in the campsite alongside me. And then Killian is coming over on Saturday, I think just before the race. And Killian's in great shape, super shape. So like again, keep a very close eye on Killian Fleming. He's gonna do, I think he could do something special as well now. Very, very special.
Super. All right, look, we're in 35 minutes, so we'll stop the live stream at that. Everyone that's watching, link in the description. Jump into the WhatsApp if you've the Trail Talk WhatsApp community if you've any follow-up questions, or you just want to shoot the shit a little bit. We're going to be talking TDS for the next little bit until Ricki goes for his third bowl of porridge. And also, just to reiterate, Ricki is a NAC athlete, so Ricki15 is the discount code if you're that way inclined. Hit it up. It supports our guy here. So anyway, guys, thanks, Ricki. Let's go see you in the WhatsApp.